Good morning, YouTube. It is early Thursday morning. I believe it's 2:45 in the morning. August 19th, 2021. And I'm walking down a path, as you can see. And it's going to be probably pretty awkward because I'm trying to shoot vertical, or I'm sorry, trying to shoot this horizontal on my iPhone, but it's really difficult to hold an iPhone and shoot vertical video without covering up the camera or touching something on the screen that fucks up the recording. But I'm trying to, because I hate vertical video, and I believe most people that watch YouTube hate vertical video, and those that don't, they really should on YouTube anyway. I've shot a lot of videos in this vlog when I started it at Urbandale Park, which is the little park off of 20th Street, just north of Thomas, where, just south of the canal, adjacent to the Arizona 51 freeway. And there's a path. There's a path that goes along the canal, which is a great, multi-use path, bike route, and I've talked about that numerous times, I think. But there's a path that goes north, adjacent to the freeway, and I've never checked it out. And tonight seemed like a good night to do that. It's pretty cool. It's really well lit. I mean, it's almost 3 in the morning, and I feel pretty safe walking on this. This here is a retaining wall, and above that, which, I'm shining a light on it. You can't really see it. You can see the retaining wall. Well, he's gonna have to see the retaining wall, but you can't see above it. There's some land there and some trees, and then there's the sound wall. It's not capturing the video, but I can see it as I'm standing here. You can kind of see the original sound wall, and you can see where they extended it because the texture of the concrete is different. But on the other side of that sound wall is the 51 freeway, also known as the Squaw Peak Parkway. But apparently that's a name that can't be uttered anymore. But I said it, didn't I? Squaw Peak Parkway. That's the name of that freeway. Yeah, I've never come up this walkway. It's kind of neat. There's a wide paved alley, and as you can see, it continues on to the north. So I'm just gonna walk up this because I'm dying to see where it goes. I'm really familiar with this area, but yet I've never walked this particular path. And for all the times I've come this direction on my scooter, I've never gone up this path, because usually if I'm on my scooter in this area, I'm very keenly aware of my limited range due to my battery, and this is far enough from home. I'm not doing any really weird exploring. Like, I'm kind of going where I'm going, and I'm going from there back and trying to make sure I get home without a dead battery. So, all right, I hit a crosswalk, and I know exactly where I am right now. This is Osborne Road. Osborne Road to the east, Osborne Road to the west, and this lovely piece of public art. This is awesome. This is one of the few pieces of public art from this. That's one of those random moments where it would have actually benefited had I been shooting vertical video. But this is one of these weird pieces of public art that's from a really big public art project from the early 90s that's actually still standing. And I don't know, it's kind of ugly, but it's interesting. I've never really, I drive by it and I see it all the time. I've never really gotten this close to it. Yeah, it's old enough. Some of the paint I don't even think that's from abuse. I just think that's from age, because you can see the cracks in the structure. I'm sure the paint just flaked off from the cracks, but kind of neat. It looks like a giant piece of Native American pottery with these little panels in the middle of urban cars and just stuff that kind of suggests urban. I wonder who has control of this, like who is in charge of this, because Oops, I flaked a little bit off, and I'm not trying to damage it. Just that paint is just flaking off from age. I mean, if you get right up close, you can see there's cracks in whatever this is made out of. I guess it's cement, to be honest. There's cracks in it, and the paint is flaking off, you know, where the cracks are. A little more of it here. Not as bad on this panel. Kind of curious who oversees this piece of decaying public art, if that's City of Phoenix or ADOT. And as much as I remember the controversy in the early 90s surrounding this public art, I still don't remember. I want to say it was ADOT, but I'm not 100% sure. It could have been City of Phoenix. But I remember that the whole controversy, I dig that little stop sign. If you're on the multi-use path, stop your bike. Make sure there's no cars coming across where you get flattened. Interesting little parcel of land here. Obviously, when they did the, eminent domain or buyout or whatever, like that house there was another house here, long gone, to make way for the freeway, and they just kind of left this little piece of land sort of open and landscaped it. Anyway, so yeah, that was a big controversy, and I rarely ever come across, like every now and then I see some YouTube videos, and there's another alley, kind of goes around and then cuts north. And I'm sure that alley used to go, directly east and west, but now it cuts north to the next street. Anyway, yeah, so every now and then I'll run across in comments on YouTube videos. Oh, I've never seen this before, and it's so dark that it's not catching in the video. Oh, this is fabulous, and the video's not capturing it. Oh wow. This is like one of the, oh man, I hope that, the sound's probably not capturing this, but this is neat as fuck. Yeah, the video is just too dark. I need to come back here in the daytime and get some video of this. This is, you can even look, oh yeah, video's not capturing it, it's too dark. This is super bizarre, and obviously from the same pottery themed public art project that I was kind of talking about. Wow, that's neat. Nobody sees that, and it's so not vandalized. I mean, we don't really do that in Phoenix compared to, say, LA or other cities, but it's just decayed with time, and there's a little bit of I don't know why I'm shining the camera on it. Y'all can't see it in that video, but you can see that. See the freeway sign up above it from the northbound 51. There's a little bit of graffiti on it, but for the most part, it's yeah, in a random spot where very few people would ever see it. You can see that. It's a giant drain from when they went through this area and built the freeway and did massive improvements to the storm drainage. And I tell you, that storm drainage system has certainly been getting a workout this August 2021 with all the monsoon rains. So the path just kind of dumped here at the corner of Mitchell. There's signs to the bike route. That's kind of neat. Mitchell and 18th Street. And that's dim. You can't really see it, but Mitchell and 18th Street. There's a sign above 18th Street, completely illegible to my eyes, which probably, when you see signs like that above street signs in Phoenix, it usually is an indication of like whatever historic neighborhood. And I don't know what this historic neighborhood is called, but there's some neat older houses here. Not that you can really see it with me shooting video at, 3-ish in the morning. But this is neat. I've never been on this piece of 18th Street. I feel like this piece of 18th Street was probably made just specifically, like probably didn't exist prior to the building of the 51 freeway. This was just the way of making Mitchell connect to the next street. It probably was not a street prior, in the neighborhood prior to this neighborhood being split in two by the freeway. Anyway, so I was talking about the pottery artwork controversy. That was an early 90s thing. I want to say, oh gosh, probably 92. Late 92, early 93. It was right after I became a cab driver, but certainly before Tracy moved in with me. Gosh, I have never wandered into this area. This is really neat. I've got a sign here. It's not very well lit. It's hard to see in this video, but if you're coming, I'm on Crittenden Lane and going towards the freeway. There's a sign that says dead end, but I kind of get the feeling that probably once upon a time it wasn't a dead end. It was a neighborhood street that went through. I'd have to look at archive maps to see for sure. And 18th Street, which I'm convinced is a street that wasn't here before the freeway was built. And there we go, 18th. See it there, 18th Street in Crittenden. You can see Crittenden pretty well. And they got the sign there indicating a dead end in that direction. This is interesting. This is a lot of what's happening in Central Phoenix. Here you can see this big storage, what do you call it? Big, oh, I forget what you call it. Like a, oh man, what the heck do you call these big metal things? They haul them on trains, they haul them in trucks. What the heck is that called? Drawing a blank on the word. And everybody's probably looking at me going, you're a fucking retard. It's called blah, 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 but I forget what they're called. Storage container? It just says azcontainers.com, container sales. Anyway, what's going on here is pretty obvious. Ooh, I was sort of trespassing there. Not that I think anybody here cares, but it's obviously not an inhabited house. A lot of times what happens is these houses are getting purchased by property investors. The light just kicked on. The light just kicked on that way. I think somebody manually turned that on and is watching me, so I should probably move along. But anyway, these types of houses, these mid-century houses that are all over Central Phoenix, they're being purchased by property investors, and they're being remodeled and modernized and just sold for a ridiculous amount of money. The guy expect that house will probably come up on the market when they're done with it. Once that storage container is full of all of the old building, and it has a modern kitchen and modern everything else on the inside. And that house, based on the last time I looked around this neighborhood, when I did the video, when I went to the 99 Cent Only store and I was driving up, and the bike route continues past the dead end. When I did that, there's a few videos back, and I don't know who watches all of these, probably nobody. I don't even watch all of them, to be honest. When I left the 99 Cent Only store and I went northbound on, the hell is the name of that street? Longview Drive. And I was commenting about how there were these new build houses there that just seemed excessively fancy for the neighborhood, and like, wow, why are there, there's some more drainage, storm drainage. And you know, and to the credit of the storm drainage, at least one of the wettest summers I can ever remember in Phoenix, and as you see, this area is not flooded, so obviously that stuff works. Anyway, yeah, so I was saying that those houses are those luxury condos that are in an area that's been traditionally ghetto. You're probably selling for, I forget the numbers that I said. I was saying something like $800,000, $900,000, and I did about a day or two later. Came down on Whitten. Still can't really read that sign, and it's I can see the one that says Whitten, but I can't really make out the one above it. Loma Linda? It's Loma Linda neighborhood. Still on the bike route. So, this McShees path kind of ends here, and then the street, 18, and then again, this is another piece of 18th Street that probably didn't exist prior to the building of the freeway. So, bike traffic presumably goes on 18th Street, pedestrian traffic has a sidewalk. Not bad. Now it's dark enough that it's not really showing up on my video, but anyway, I'm on the sidewalk. This would be a great ride on a scooter. Yeah, so I did look those areas up, and sure as shit, those houses are selling for $700,000, $800,000. I saw one in the area, it was selling for like $1 million. Certainly nothing less than about $300,000, $400,000. And the $300,000, $400,000 houses had less square footage than my 2-bedroom apartment. So yeah, housing is skyrocketing in Phoenix. And that house that I was showing the storage container in front of, I'm sure when it goes on the market, it's going to go for a lot of money. in spite of the fact that it's kind of here in the hood. And I mean, I say hood, this isn't anything along the caliber of hood that I shot this morning, along 27th Avenue. Now, this is interesting. I'm at the corner of 18th Street and Weldon neighborhood. And right there, yeah, of course it's not bright enough to see it. On the southeast corner, there's a house. Looks like a new build house that's probably been there for the last decade or so. Like, it's recent architecture compared to most of the houses here, but it's way bigger than the houses in this neighborhood. But this one here, oh man, and of course it's not bright enough. You kind of see a hint of it. Get back from that looks, the image that I'm getting in the phone is super odd. This is bizarre architecture here. At first glance I was thinking maybe it was a shipping container house, but it's not. This is just an example of really odd architecture. And this looks like it's a house that's being built. It doesn't look occupied. Oh yeah, no, this is definitely being built. And man, I wish I was doing this video in the daytime, because there's building materials out here behind it. And I can kind of see what looks like old structure behind it. Something that seems more period appropriate for this neighborhood. I don't know why I'm bothering to flash my phone at it because it's so dark you can't see it. But I'm willing to bet anything. What's going on there is a really creative remodel. And look at, oh man, I hate that I can see this with my eyes and then my iPhone in the way at it. You just can't. I look at my screen and it's just not really what my eyes see. What my eyes see is a lot brighter. What I see on the phone is just so dark and dim. But it's a bizarre looking building because from here it's notably taller. I mean, bizarre for Phoenix. It's notably taller than it is wide, and it's super narrow. Extending from the alley towards the street. I mean, it's long extending from the alley to the street, but from the street to the corner street, into the lot, it's super narrow. But then I can kind of see behind it what looks like the roof structure of what would be a normal house for this neighborhood. Yeah, I'm aiming my phone at it. I can't see it on the screen. But anyway, they're probably riding on an interesting thing in Phoenix law, like Phoenix property law, and I don't know all the details of it. I've had a handful of people explain it to me, so I'm probably relaying it wrong. And again, like, keep in mind when I try to explain these sorts of things, I am a mentally ill high school dropout. Okay, I'm not a property investor. I'm not a real estate mogul. I'm now at the corner of 18th Street and Clarendon, still walking north. I would bet this is the original alignment of 18th Street. This sidewalk I'm on here looks like it's older than the freeway. Yeah, I'm not a property investor. I'm not a real estate person. I'm a former pothead, mentally ill high school dropout that is a karaoke DJ. And by most people's standards is a freeloader. So, but I do have a little bit higher IQ than average. I am a Minson, and man, that is a neat structure on the right. And again, it's too dark for me to get it on my video. But anyway, what's going on there has kind of been explained to me. I've heard people, I've read some websites, and I've talked to some people about what's going on. And basically, if somebody buys a piece of property in Phoenix, like, and I'm in Central Phoenix, it's developed Phoenix. Somebody buys a piece of property, and they completely bulldoze the structure that's on it, and they do a complete new build house. They have to comply with all the building codes and all the rules and everything that extends to a new build house. And then there's also taxes and an assessment for what the property taxes are going to be for the city of Phoenix in Maricopa County. based on new build house, and that can get pretty expensive, and it can be also, for the person who buys the house, it can be, you have a house where you've got a pretty high tax obligation, and there's a lot of rules involved. And from what I've heard, there's an interesting way to skirt around that, and that's by, instead of having a new build house, do a remodel. and in the darkness, you're not seeing my air quotes. Of course, I'm behind the camera, but I'm putting air quotes around remodel. In fact, a lot of what is skirting under the rules of remodel in Phoenix that is being handled by property investors, where investors are buying up houses and they're doing a quote-unquote remodel so they can turn around and flip and sell the house. They're keeping absolutely the bare minimum required by law for it to skirt, for it to be categorized as a remodel. They're just adding all this new structure to it. Wow, here's more of the I never finished explaining the whole pottery artwork controversy. Here's another piece I've never seen before. God, I can't believe all these years and I've never walked up here, and the video is not getting it at all. This is too damn dark. This is fascinating. I had no idea this was here. That's cool as fuck. I need to do another version of this in the daytime. That's a really cool video. It's interesting. You can't see it in the video. There's a walkway leading this whole public art installation with some like sit down space, bench space, but it comes to the sidewalk, or it comes to the side of the street, 18th Street, which is clearly the original 18th Street alignment. 18th Street being a quarter-mile street. I've explained that in previous vlogs. I'm not going to get sidetracked with what a quarter-mile street is in Phoenix. But 18th Street being a quarter-mile street, there's no sidewalk on the west side of the street. So when you come out of that, public art installation with sitting space, you have to cross the street and come to the other side to get to the sidewalk. I didn't see a bike route sign, but I'm going to assume that's the stretch of 18th Street, still a bike route. Anyway, back to what I was saying about remodels. So these property investors are doing keeping the absolute bare minimum of the old structure so it can qualify as a remodel. And instead of following into the rules for a new build, as far as like building code rules, property code rules, like how much space you have. I think that's what's going on in that one. Like this Phoenix zoning code very much specifies like how much space you can have between a house and the street. And I get a feeling they got around that by the fact that it is a quote-unquote remodel over there. But that one's super bizarre. I want to come back and shoot video of it in the daytime, because oh wow, this is so overgrown here. It's a little flooding going on. That one, the new stuff being attached to it just doesn't look anything like the original architecture at all. It's super bizarre. And I think this the little bit of original architecture that was kept in the back was kept there just enough so they can skirt by with the remodel rules. And I know it affects the property assessment for property taxes as well. It ends up making a house that is taxed less on the new purchaser. A lot going on. It's interesting. Like this house has a carport, bars on the window, carport, but no driveway extending to the street. Kind of get the feeling there used to be a driveway extending to the street, but not anymore. Anyway, so 18th Street here pretty clearly used to connect. And oh man, I'm doing this in the night where you can't see it, but pretty clear there's a cul-de-sac here. I'm just south of Indian School Road, and pretty clearly this used to connect to Indian School Road, but it doesn't anymore. This is neat. I drive by this on Indian School all the time, but I've never been here. This is the alley, and you can't really see much, but this is the alley directly south of Indian School Road, residential to the right, all business property to the left, and it connects to this cul-de-sac. Obviously people who live here use this parking lot as a way to get to Indian School Road. There's a gate that could be closed, but it's not. That's private property, so I'm not going to walk there, even though I don't think anybody would care if I did. And here is a like a ramp, so bike traffic using 18th Street as a bike route. Yeah, you can kind of see that in the video now. So it just 18th Street is a car street ends, but 18th Street as a multi-use bike path, which would be fabulous on an electric scooter, continues northbound. And we got a split here. I can continue to go straight north, and I can see, I mean, you can see the street lights. Like, it continues to be 18th Street to the north, or I can go this direction, and it takes me directly to a crosswalk where the 51 comes out. And then there's the sidewalk from Indian School. But yeah, the sidewalk in Indian School hits this, lines at this, and cross the freeway and get under the 51. So it's really fascinating. I've never come through here before. I mean, I've driven through here many times. I mean, I couldn't even count how many times I've driven through this intersection. But I've never ever actually walked through this intersection. So this is pretty fascinating to me. It's pretty neat. So yeah, I'm now under Indian School on the south side of the road, walking underneath the 51. God, if this was Los Angeles, there would be so many tents right here. ADOT in Phoenix doesn't put up with that, so there's not. Which isn't to say that there's not homeless people in Phoenix, just they're not. Arizona and all the the city governments and the state government agencies, like this little piece I walked through, it's hard to say whether that's controlled by Phoenix or whether it's controlled by ADOT, and also Maricopa County Sheriff's Office who took part in it. But yeah, there's no tents. There's no tents here. No people squatting here. I guarantee you there are homeless people squatting within a half-mile radius of where I'm standing. But as I'm walking in an area that's visible from a major street, we're not going to see them because the authorities won't let that happen like they let it happen in other places. And some people are like, oh, it's Democrats. Yeah, whatever. I saw it in Texas. I saw a lot of it in Texas, and Texas is pretty damn Republican. So, and for that matter, not so much Arizona, but the city of Phoenix has had a lot of Democrat governance, like Democrat mayors. At least the last two mayors have been Democrats. The majority of the city council is Democrat, and regardless, it's city of Phoenix is not letting people squat in tents along the side of the road like Los Angeles is. So it's not really people want to put that on one side of the right or the left, and it's really not one of those kind of issues. Just some places allow it, some places don't, regardless of their alignment to the right or the left. And homelessness, it's not a partisan problem, and it kind of aggravates me as somebody who is somewhat conservative, very much a libertarian, not a Democrat, not a Republican, simply somebody who believes in being very conservative fiscally, but otherwise live and let live, and freedom for everybody, as long as it doesn't infringe on anybody else's freedom. For someone that comes from there politically, it's frustrating to see the arguments regarding homelessness and people trying to say it's a right issue or a left issue, because it's an issue that's bigger than that. And homelessness can face anybody regardless of their political position or complete apathy to politics. A lot of people who will badmouth homeless people don't realize just how close they are to being homeless themselves. All it would take for the average American is an extended stay in a hospital, or their car to blow its engine, or them to lose their job, or their spouse to lose their job, or them both lose their job, or a divorce, and suddenly they could find themselves homeless, regardless of their political affiliation. So I don't have a solution for it. I'm just kind of documenting. I'm just kind of talking about it. But as somebody who has struggled on and off throughout my life with homelessness, it's something that's very near and dear to me, and I'm trying to kind of document it and get it out there. This is so bizarre. Like, this is an area where I've driven around it so many times and I've never walked through here. But yeah, I go to this Wells Fargo ATM all the time. I'm at the strip mall. You see, we got Goodwill and Arizona Art Supply and Little Caesars and some other shit here. No major anchor. The biggest anchor here is Goodwill, and that third-party motor vehicle services. If memory serves, that used to be a Payless Shoe Source before Payless Shoe Stores kind of ceased to exist. But this is a strip mall that's been here for a long time. If memory serves, where the Goodwill is, deeper into there, that used to be a grocery store, but damned if I can remember what kind of grocery store it was. Like, I'm thinking an Abco, but I'm not sure. It's been a long time. It's been a Goodwill for a long time. Anyway, yeah, this is a strip mall in the southeast corner of 16th Street and Indian School. We got Circle K right there, and this Wells Fargo ATM, which has been here for a long time. So I'm gonna cut this off. I'm at 31 minutes. I know this video is gonna end up being a struggle for me to upload, but I'm not wanting to be home for the usual reason of not wanting to be home, which I don't want to talk about right now. But I'm gonna end this. Thanks for coming along for the ride. I'm going to use that ATM to check my bank account, and I will be back, and I think I'm going to continue walking and shooting film because this is fun. Or shooting video, film. Filling data in my iPhone with digital video.